Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining Brustman and Lowe on the Give and Go podcast, episode number 3 of the 2024-2025 basketball season. We are in the new year, um, midway through, a little over midway through the season, and starting this week, a lot of good matchups this week, and to finish out the season until we lead up to the Shore Conference tournament. We're going to start today's show off. We're going to run through the divisions where everybody stands, who still has a shot at a division title. Then we're going to go through some, surprises or things that have stuck out so far to Doug and myself this season. And we're going to wrap up the episode going through our players of the week and the fan poll, which will be posted probably on Wednesday. So let's start with the divisions. We'll go A Central first with Manasquan and St. Rose, both 3-0 sitting up top before the season. We both, those were the two teams we had up top, and we thought St. Rose would probably be the favorite, but they play tomorrow night, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than maybe we thought going into the season.
Yeah, they still play twice too. They haven't played yet this season, so that's going to go a long way into determining the uh, division championship. But the way Manasquan's playing, they could give St. Rose a game. St. Rose is playing well too, so I think each team, close proximity. The girls all kind of live around each other. It's going to be a great game. I think both are going to go full out and try to get the upper hand in that A Central division tomorrow. But besides those two teams, I don't see any other team having a chance. I don't see Howell beating either one of them. I don't see Jackson beating either one of them. Jackson already lost kind of big to Manasquan. So I think it's a two-horse race, and tomorrow be a good tell as to how that division's going to go.
Yeah, and Howell plays Jackson Memorial tomorrow, and Howell's sitting at 2-2, and both their losses are to Manasquan and St. Rose.
Right.
So they could really make a statement that, hey, we are, the third best team, because them, Neptune, Jackson Memorial, we all thought would be competitive. We saw Neptune this weekend, and wasn't what I expected. I thought it'd be a little bit better. Um,
But they beat Jackson last week, so it's kind of
yeah.
Howell has a chance to bury Jackson. I think Howell going to 3-2, that would put Jackson at 1-3. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, of course, that would probably be for third place in the division.
Yeah. A Coastal next. Another big game tomorrow. RBC sitting at 4-0. SJV sitting at 3-0. SJV currently ranked 1 in our rankings. RBC sitting at 3 in our rankings. Again, before the season, we had those two clearly above everybody else. And tomorrow is their first matchup. And ironically, their second matchup will be the same day as St. Rose and Manasquan's second matchup.
Right. Yeah, because why would they schedule them on different days? The two games people want to see the most makes no sense. But
So, and you'll be in attendance tomorrow. Uh, so what are your thoughts with the Coastal Division?
well, we saw Red Bank Catholic last week against Morris Catholic, and man, I thought that was a game that they could have stolen from Morris Catholic. Morris Catholic did not play very well. Um, you know, one of the Paldos, I think Mia ended up with 21 points, but it was a real quiet 21 points. I really thought if RBC had turned the ball over and you know played a little bit better in the offense, they missed a lot of easy shots. I thought they had a chance to win that game, but so I think that's one they let get away. And then I just saw SJV the other night play against Red Bank at the Jimmy V Classic in at Central, and RBC played them well again, sloppy in the first half, but played very well in the second half. SJV ended up winning by 7-15 or 17. Um, that's gonna be a good. I mean, as far as a prediction, I think It's at SJV. I'm sure all the alumni will be there for that game that are local. Um, Dawn said she really wants to get this one, so I think SJV will probably win round one.
Yeah, I probably just I've seen RBC twice. Didn't look too great against St. Rose. Sloppy against Morse Catholic and missed a lot of, like you said, easy shots. Have not seen SJV yet though, but it seems like they're getting in stride after not being completely themselves early in the season. They lead the short conference with 12 wins right now, so I'd probably go home court SJV two. Um, and RBR, they're 2-1. Everybody else has three or four losses behind. They're clearly sitting in the three spot with their
Yeah, and I just don't see them beating either of the top two teams. They already played each one once, played SJV better than they played RBC. Um, but yeah, I think our RBR will probably maintain that third spot, and their only division losses will probably be to SJV and RBC.
I agree. Middletown South Rumson, I think they play this week. That's an interesting
Mhm.
because Middleton South could get that. They could be sitting in the four spot and move up maybe the top 10 rank into the top 10 as well.
Be a full game plus the tiebreaker ahead of the team that loses. So
Now, A North, very interesting. Rainey sitting at 4-0. Trinity Hall 3-1. The one loss is to Rainey. Rainey started off 0-5, and they were seven in a row. Three of them against top 10 opponents that we had ranked in the top 10 at the time that they played them. I think they a little bit of edge right now. I have to check to see when they meet for the second time. But
I could tell you that
Trinity,
right now.
you got
Hold
that?
on. They play on the 28th of January.
Okay, so early next week.
Oh yeah, geez, man, it's almost the end of the month already. It's
Yep.
crazy.
So,
But
um,
yeah, Randy started off the season 0-5. So they're on a 7 game win streak. And we saw them at the coaches versus cancer at Donovan. Um, and they played pretty well. So um, I don't know. I think they got round one against Trinity. Um, and then as far as the rest, Colts Neck is pretty. They played Trinity Hall pretty well. I think they played them to a 10-point game the first time they
yeah.
played, and then we saw them the other day against Shore, and they did not look very good. 5 of 42 from three, 13 of 66 from the field, just at home, just a pretty bad game for them. Um, Shore, Shore and Colts Neck are tied for third place right now. They play one more time. I don't see Marlboro getting any advantage. So um, again, it looks kind of like a two-horse race. Maybe a Shore or Colts that can sneak in the second, but um, it'll take some work.
Yeah, I agree. Rainey just seems to be playing better and better. Trinity Hall is on. Uh, where were they up at Roselle Catholic this weekend?
Yes. Yeah.
They've played in a few tight games.
Hmm.
Grace Feeney's having a great season.
Great
So,
season. Yeah.
um, I think the first time they played, Michelle Steele played, but she wasn't feeling good. Didn't play much in the first half.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting, what kind of adjustments Coach McCarthy can make the second go around because that was a lopsided second half, um,
Yeah.
the first time. So
Especially if Steele didn't play. I mean, and we saw them. She kind of integrated right into the offense, and it didn't look awkward. Her kind of coming in and with Krieger and Poser playing really well. Um, so yeah, Coach McCarthy's a great coach. I'm sure he'll figure something out. Um, and I don't really see it being a 20-point game the next time they play, but who knows? I mean, it's that one's kind of up in the air. That's
yeah.
a toss up right now.
A South, Tom's River East sitting 4-0. Three teams Manchester Southern and Central sitting 2-2. Toms River North 1-3. Donovan 1-3. Uh, we saw East during the WOBM. A young team this year. They only one senior. So Coach Cohen has them. They're 6-1 on the road too. That's an interesting stat, and 3-2 at home. So I think any of the teams that would have had a shot would have been Manchester, and I believe East just beat them last week. So I don't think anybody's going to catch Toms River East.
It's funny. I apologize to Coach Cohen and the Toms River East girls because I had them dead and buried before the season started. We talked about them losing 90% of their scoring from last year, and I didn't really give them much of a chance. I thought Central would have a better season than they're having in the division. I thought Manchester would be a little more consistent. They're a little inconsistent. Same with Southern. You saw Southern, I think, once or twice already.
So
Um, North, inconsistent. They go and beat Manchester, but then lose a bad game. And Donovan, we know they're struggling. So I think East has a 2-game lead already.
they haven't played
Uh,
Manchester yet. So
right. And they haven't played Manchester, who's in second place.
mhm.
But, which Manchester team are you going to get? The one that comes out and erases a 16-point uh, deficit at the coaches versus cancer, or the one that loses at home to Toms River North. So,
Yeah.
uh, if you get the good Manchester, it could be a game. If you get the bad Manchester, Toms River East probably have a 3-game lead in that division.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I don't think anybody's going to catch East, and the future looks bright the next two seasons, couple of seasons. And Grace Crowley is doing a great job being the lone senior, being
Yep.
leading that team. Next up, B Central. No surprise there. Point Borough leading the way 4-0, and Point Beach and Brick Memorial 3-1 in the division. Um, but let's be honest, Borough is a top 10 team, borderline top 10 team. None of those other schools are. We got to
Right.
see Borough play Saturday. Even though it was close, they trailed at one point. It's just a game that you felt Borough was gonna pull out.
Yeah, I didn't really think they were in trouble at any point in that game. Um, they're, they're one of those teams we talk about. They're very good. They're very senior laden. Um, and you're just waiting for them to win that one big game, that one big out of division game where you're like, okay, now they've made it. Um, they're playing really well. We've seen them a couple times. They haven't played Point Beach yet, but I don't think Point Beach has enough firepower to give them a
They played
game.
they played once.
Oh, they did already? I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
or that was like right after the New Year.
My bad. I missed that one.
Yeah,
Um,
they
but
won
the
by like
bottom
30.
and Brick Memorial's 3 wins are against New Egypt, Lakewood, and Jackson Liberty, I believe. So the
Yes.
bottom of that division is pretty
We
bad.
yeah.
So we said going into this that Borough should not have a problem winning this division and probably wouldn't lose a game in the division. Um, what we did worry about was the power points coming out of that division. So yeah, I don't see Borough losing a game in the B North or B Central.
As of Thursday when we posted, Borough was sitting eighth in the Shore
Okay.
in power points. That was as of Thursday. That will be updated again on Wednesday for us.
Okay.
But they're not
That
doing.
sounds about right.
Yes. A little better actually, of course, they're only 4 games into their division schedule. So
Right.
that's gonna change a little bit. B Coastal, Middletown North sitting 4-0. Keensburg and Raritan both sitting at 3-1. Middletown North already has an edge on Kingsburg. Thought that would have been a little closer game than it was.
It's like a 30
Uh,
point game. Yeah.
Kingsburg does have some, veterans that have been Rivera, who's a senior, has been playing since
Yep.
freshman.
Graves has
Graves,
been playing really
junior,
well.
and Flansbaum, pronounce it.
Lansbaum. Yep.
She's been playing. She's a junior, so they got three players that could score. But North just seems to be another level. Be interesting when they have their rematch. Any adjustments Keensburg could make, but I think both of us had North winning that division, and right now, unless Kingsburg could get the second meeting, um, I don't see any other teams being a threat to North.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, one of them may be able to pick Keensburg off, you know, but I don't see anybody beating Middletown North.
No. Uh, B North. Interesting battle up top. Frio Township, Frio Borough, game one is tomorrow night. Um, which this will probably be posted tomorrow, so it'll be tonight.
Yeah.
Uh, um, game of the week. That's gonna decide the division. I mean, although they have the second, whoever wins will have a huge advantage going into the second game. Frio Borough sitting at 10-1 right now. 3-0 in division. Frio Township 4-0 in the division, 6-5. Frio Borough has two players that could score double digits with ease.
Hmm.
Their sophomore Olivia is starting to, become
She's
more of a
playing very
role,
well. Yeah.
not just on the rebounds, but she's also starting to score more. Township seniors led by Gabby Parker. I think it's gonna be a very good game tomorrow. I think Borough wins just because they have two, natural basketball 365 days a year players on the team, where Township has very good athletes and very good soccer players on the court.
Right. I'll disagree with you there. I'm gonna go with Township.
Yeah.
Uh I think it's gonna, I mean, the guard play is gonna be great. It's gonna be, Tanino and Parker, Penaranda and Sakaris, but I think Freel Township has a little bit more size that might give Burrow some trouble. Still waiting for Madison Scarino to have a big game. She seemed to be a little off to start the season. This might be the game where she puts it together, and that would give Township three scores. So yeah, I think Township's going to win tomorrow, and then their second matchup, I guess we'll figure that out later, but I think Township gets a leg up tomorrow.
Okay. Behind them is Manalapan at 2-2. Another young team that they're developing over there, but they can't compete with the senior leadership yet of the two free old schools. And Long Branch sitting at 1-3.
Yeah, Long Branch
Uh,
is having a good season outside the division, but inside the
yeah,
division, they seem to be struggling. So,
yeah. I'm just pulling up I'm seeing who that third. Did they lose to Manalapan too? Oh, they did. Lost to Manalapan. Yeah, so that's their three losses. The three teams ahead of them.
yeah, and then Monmouth and Asbury just not,
Yeah,
Asbury, still not sure why they and Middletown North didn't switch their divisions, but
yeah.
again, I don't get paid enough to figure that out.
B South. Barnegat sitting 11-1, 3-0 in the division. Brick 8-5, sitting 2-1. Barnegat already has a check mark next to that one of their games. At Brick too, so big advantage for them when they meet again. That would clinch the division. Lacey's sitting at 2-1 in division. Can't see them really competing with the Barnegat and Toms River South 1-2, sitting in fourth, and Pinelands in fifth. I was at the Barnegat Brick game, very exciting game, and the next day you got to see Barnegat in another very exciting game.
Yeah, it's probably the game of the year so far that I've seen against Jackson. That game was back and forth, great, battle coaching and kids going all out. That was a great game. I did not see I only saw Brick Township once so far. And I don't think oh maybe twice. I think I've seen them twice, but I don't think either game they played very well. Um, so I mean, Barnegat's firing on all cylinders. I mean, the girl, Zamira Enols, who hasn't played high school basketball, she's a senior, hasn't played high school basketball, uh, played 2 years of AAU, I think, 2 or 3 years with Goody on Team Swish, but this is her first year playing organized high school basketball, and she's lighting it up. I mean, probably one of the best kept secrets on the shore. Um, so put her along, with the other double machine, Thornton, and Fitzpatrick's playing really well. So I think they're going to be really tough to beat, and they probably will go through that division undefeated.
Yes, and I agree, and that could transition into some surprises or things that stick out. And one of the surprises is the senior. How did I've been butcher her last name?
Zamar Enols,
Enos, averaging
yeah,
a double double has been one of the great surprises. Athletic and both ends of the floor. Not just rebounding and putting shots back. She blocks shots. Really nice piece to Barnegat, who they're in South Jersey Group Two, I think.
too. Mhm.
Um, if the other two, Riley Fitzpatrick's been playing the point, and everybody knows Emma Thornton's just a double double machine as well. Maybe can make some noise come sectional time in South Jersey Group Two. We'll run up again. What, Middle Township? Is that who they would
Middle
run up?
Township, yep. Middle
Yeah,
Township would be the big gun in that
which would
in
be
that
a
division.
tough
But I
game.
think,
But
yeah, I think. Listen, I don't even think they'll wait to make noise till the state sectionals. I think that if all three of those girls are playing well, they may pull off an upset in the short conference tournament. So I wouldn't want to play them the way those three girls are playing. I would not want to see Barnegat on my, tournament comes out and your first round games against Barnegat. I'd be scared.
they're sitting 11th right now as of last Wednesday in the
Which
short
how what you
conference.
got 14 by 4 buys,
No, I
right? In a
think
20 team, you have 4 buys. So top four we get buys, right?
no, I think it's more than that. It's a lot of bodies. Hang on, I'm pulling it up. I got the bracket on my
Oh wait,
phone.
with 12 buys, right? And then
I
four
think
teams
it's
to play.
12
Right,
buys.
12 buys, 14. So they get a buy, and then 11 would play seven? No, 11 would play six. So who's sitting at six right now?
Trinity Hall.
Be a good game.
Yeah, where is that?
If that's the way. I mean, obviously it's going to
Yeah,
change
it's gonna
before then, but
update. But yeah, that would be
if I was
uh
Trinity, I'd be, I would not want to see Barnegat on the other side of the
no,
first
because
round
you got
matchup.
you got three scorers. They play good defense. All five play defense that she has on
Yep,
the court. So to me, that's why Barnegat is one of the, big surprise, not necessarily their division, but just overall and the the impact they're making early this season inside the Shore Conference.
I agree with that. I have one of them as my surprises. Another one would be Borough,
Yeah.
10-1. Not that we know they're a good team, but 10-1 to start the season is pretty strong. They got the two guards, and again, they're going to battle Freehold Township twice to see who's going to win that division. I also have Keensburg. We talked about Keensburg. They're 10 and
I know one.
1. Um, they're in the tournament as of right now, I believe, right?
Yes, they are sitting. Kingsburg is sitting at 17. Frio Burrows at 15.
Okay. But I mean, it could change,
Yeah.
listen, I think it'd be great if Keensburg made it. I also think it would be bad for Keensburg if Keensburg made it
Yeah.
because I know, you win one of those matchups, so what would be 17? They're going to get the number one seed maybe if they win the first
Yes.
round.
Yeah.
So they end up against St. John Vianney. I mean,
Or St. Yeah.
thanks for
Well,
coming, uh, but then Tom's Reese is my other surprise. 9-3, like I said, I had them, I think maybe almost last in the division just because of what they lost. But
Mhm.
Coach Cohen's doing a great job with that team, and uh, like you said, Crowley's doing a great job as a leader. They got some young players, so that's another one of my positive surprises.
Yeah, he joked during the WOBM that she had as many points already that season than she did the first 3 years of her career combined. So,
Good for her, but you're playing behind the last 3 years, girls that can score. So she didn't really have to do that, but now
mhm.
she's stepping up. So good for her.
Yeah, and you notice now that the younger players are getting more comfortable, their point totals are going up compared to early in the season, which is, I'm sure Coach Cohen was loving that too, where she's not
Absolutely.
being, it's not all on her shoulders at this point of the year to get all the scoring. Another surprise for me is where RBC stands right now in the short conference tournament. 4 losses, losing three in a row. Losing to St. Rose really surprised a lot of people. Um, they just you saw them against Morris Catholic. Seemed like they were St. Rose game. They were relying a little too much on a 3-pointer. I thought
Yes.
against
Yep.
St. Rose, and a little bit we saw that at Morris Catholic, and like you said, missed a lot of easy shots. So that is one of my surprises. And they are currently sitting 12th.
Ooh.
So
Again, subject to change, and
yeah.
tomorrow's gonna be a big one. If they can knock off the ante, they'll probably vault up, I don't know, 6, 7 spots. But as they sit now as the 12 seed, who's the 5 seed? Just for they and RBC is right on the bubble of the vice. So uh
Howell is 5 right now.
okay. Um yeah, I think them sitting at 12 is a little bit of a surprise. They lost 4 games already, which didn't have on my bingo card that they lose 4 games early in the season. Um the other one, I talked about Central, thought they'd have a little bit better season. They're sitting at 3-10. They won 2 of their last 3. Some of their games have not been competitive. Um, so we talked to coach before the season, and he was very high and positive on, what he thought his team could do. Um, but I guess things just haven't panned out for them.
Okay. My last surprise, a little, is Southern. I know they did graduate a few pieces, but I saw them once this year, and to me, they're better in 3 and 7. Couple freshmen they start, look promising. And I don't know if there's a chemistry problem there, but just shocked 3 and 7, losing to Donovan, because
Yeah, that
they have
was
7 players. They could go to the bench. It's not
right.
so that to me that's a little bit of surprise because I saw them against Tom's River North, and they have 7 basketball players, and so yeah, just sitting at 3 and 7 with some of their losses. It just the Donovan game point sticks out to me. So to me
Yeah,
that's probably my last little bit of a shock
I think
surprise.
Glenn was shocked that they beat Southern also. Going down to Southern and winning that game, I'm sure nobody really gave him a chance, but
Yeah, and you got to
um,
put like Casey Collins. She's a very good player. So
yeah.
you know,
My last, surprise, you know, kind of a surprise, kind of not a surprise. I thought Neptune would be better than 5 and 6. Very
yeah,
inconsistent. They
yeah.
they beat Jackson, and then they play a poor game. I wrote it down, but I can't remember who it was against. Then they go to Point Borough and play well for a while, but don't pull out the win. So they're a little inconsistent. Uh, I thought they'd have a little bit more of a better season so far.
So right before Jackson, they played Howell. They only lost by 4.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. That was yep. Yep.
and then
Um,
they beat Jackson by 8.
beat Jackson, but yeah, just inconsistency for Neptune, and we saw it in that game against Borough. Uh, they look great at some points, and then they just look disinterested at other points. And it's not everybody, but they Borough did a good job on Krista Ramos for the whole game. She held her to 4 points.
Yeah, not many
Not many
teams could
people
say
have
that.
done that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and Quarles, I think she might. I mean, she wasn't a leading scorer, but she's knocking down. When she's leading you in the
She's
first
open.
half,
Yeah. Yep.
scoring. Um, you need to get, Ellington and Raymond Evans had a good game. I think she had
Mhm.
12. So they
Yep.
need to figure things out because they're in Group Three, which is
Right.
you got RBR, but who knows if you can get that team playing because the way they played last year, they went into Southern and beat them pretty bad in the shore
Yeah.
conference tournament.
Hmm.
So hopefully they could get things going on the right track. Oh shoot,
Agreed.
what did I do? Um, all right, you want players of the week or anything else you want?
No,
You got anything else?
I think we kind of just covered everything. So yeah, players of
Yeah.
the week. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Just our top 10 is the same. It'll be posted tomorrow morning. No changes. None of the teams. Nothing really happened that would impact the top 10.
Right.
So, all right, let's pull up players of the week. All right. A Central, back to back. We went with she was player of the week last week for A Central, Jada Lynch from St. Rose. I'll let you talk. You want to talk
Yeah.
about her?
I mean, just
Yeah.
the season she's having is pretty incredible. I think probably the front runner for short conference player of the year at this point.
Hmm.
I don't think anybody would dispute that. Um, she averaged 18 points over the 3 game week, including a 25 point, 14 rebound game against Bayonne. So, I don't think this will be the last time she's up for player of the week, but it is the second time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And in that game, she hit the 1,000 point milestone
1,000 point mark, correct.
in her career.
Yep.
So congratulations to that. She's having a really great season and really wants to show that St. Rose is, one of the best teams. A Coastal, Eddie Nemchek from RBC.
Yeah. She averaged 15 points over the 4 games, and including 21 points and 7 rebounds against Morris Catholic. Probably the only reason that RBC had a shot in that game, but she was very consistent, whereas her teammates were pretty inconsistent. Um, but again, she's just a great player, so kind of
Yeah.
expect that out of her.
Yeah, it's just you always know what you're getting out of her. Um, would like to see him, work the ball more. She has to create a lot of
Yes, her own.
her
Yes, yep,
points,
agreed.
but if they could get the thing with RBC, you always know is she's always going to score her 12 to 16, and it's you don't know who's going to be behind her with double digits. If they could get a little more consistent on who is going to be that number two and number three behind her, you're
Right.
probably going to see a little more consistent play out of them.
So I think it's weird because Joe substitutes a lot. So
Yes.
to me, it kind of keeps people from getting in a rhythm and getting a chance to be a consistent scorer. Just Addie's that good. She's just going to score, but um, subbing a lot, you don't get people in a rhythm. But again, it's on the players also to get into a rhythm. You got to come ready to play,
Yeah.
and you can't just rely on Addie to get you through. They've got a lot of great players on the team. It's just like you said, getting consistency from somebody else.
Yeah. A North, no surprise with the season she's having. Grace Feeney from Trinity Hall.
Yeah, I think I would say probably the most improved player in the shore. Um, you know, Definitely an all shore candidate. She's just playing really well. Um, she's averaged 18 points over the 5 games for Trinity last week, including 27 points and 7 rebounds against Homedale. So just a very solid 24-25 season so far.
Yeah. We were wondering who was gonna be the go-to with Nina graduating, and Trinity found the answer in Grace since the beginning of the season. So what a
Yep,
great season she's having.
no doubt.
A South, Emma Christensen.
One of your soccer players.
Yeah, all
But,
short first team.
Emma, just, I mean, good week for her. Averaged 14 points over the 4 games, including 24 points, 8 rebounds against Hout. So against a really good short conference team, she performed. Um, just got to get that consistency again out of her and some other. Kellyman's been playing pretty well too. Um, if Central can get more consistency and put stuff together, um, who knows? They can make a run. But Emma had a really great week.
Yeah, especially you said Howell was Kira and Kelly Beam
And
to
Beam, right?
that could match her physically and height wise. So B Central, I think sometimes she gets a little overlooked throughout the shore. Vanessa Haas from Point Borough.
Kind of one of our favorite players that does everything, does the dirty work, doesn't complain, gets hammered going to the basket every time. I mean, they could have called 10 fouls against her the other day. They gave her one, maybe two, but that's the kind of player she is. She doesn't, you know, she just does the dirty work and doesn't care. She averaged 14 points over the 4 games, a double double against New Egypt, 15 points, 10 rebounds. And, she's kind of the glue of that team. We know Hen's a good player. We know
Mhm.
Marinelli and Dahl, run the guard spots. But, and Gabby, you know, who's who's been playing well, a little inconsistent, but playing well. When you got her going, and Haas, just like I said, I mean, I don't know how many times I can say it. She just does the dirty work for that team.
Um, we don't have a B Coastal one yet.
Yeah, I
Did did we, that's not in my email. Hang on, I'm checking.
I
Let's
yeah,
we'll,
I
we'll go to B North while I'm looking at B Coastal.
yeah,
B North from Frio Borough, Christina Sikaris, who's having a great season with her classmate, who was
yep. So you're right,
player of the
kind
week
of
last
around
week.
the
So
Sakaris averaged 20 points over the 4 game week, including 23.10 rebound game against Sayreville. Um, like you said, we know what they're going to get out of the 2 guard spots. Bachelor could be the third. Um, so I'm sure this won't be the 2 guards last spot on the player of the week.
no, yeah, um, they're a fun combo to watch. B South, Zamaya Now's I think second week for her too.
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about her before,
Yeah.
just coming on the scene like gangbusters. She averaged 14 points and 17 rebounds a game over the 4 games for Barnegat, including 20 points, 18 rebounds against Toms River South. In that coaches versus cancer at Donovan when they played Jackson, um, Thornton didn't have the greatest offensive game. Fitzpatrick did play really well. She got into foul trouble, but Enol's kind of like kept them right in it when things started to look a little bad and Jackson made a couple runs. I mean, this kid was all over the place, just rebounds, playing defense, blocking shots, like you said before. Uh, she's exciting to watch. So if you haven't gotten out to see Barnegat play, go out and check her out.
Yeah, what she all if the rare chance Thornton gets in foul trouble, you have it's not all going to be on Fitzpatrick's shoulders now like it has been in previous years.
Right.
Wild cards. First, we got Olivia Shaughnessy from Manasquan. She's come back from her injury, playing very well.
Playing very well. She's, Loyola Maryland commit. Um, led Squan 3-0 week. She averaged 13 points, including 13 in a win over RVR, and she was the MVP in the Boardwalk Showcase in that game. Very consistent play this year. So, um,
Yeah, we never didn't really say, but Manasquan's, they got so many players that could put up 10 to 15 points, a lot of weapons, which I think could cause problems for like St. Rose.
sure.
You just don't know who's going to be having
Like,
their big game.
yeah, on any given day. We already know Shea Donnelly had a 30-point game. Um, and they've got a lot of weapons, just a lot of kids that they can sub in and out and don't lose much. So it's going to be tough. Again, that game tomorrow is going to be. I wish I could go to both games, but I only go to one.
Next up, Taylor Sofokanic from SJV.
Yeah, you know, very consistent. 13, she averaged 12 points, including a 13 rebound double level against Middletown South. She struggled a little bit in the coaches for the Jimmy V Classic game against RBR on the offensive end. She missed a couple easy shots early, but then she started getting rolling. Her combo with her and Stella Lockhart, that's kind of Lockhart was playing the the high post, Sofokanic playing the low post, and Sofokanic would get double team kick at the Lockhart. Lockhart didn't miss in that game. Uh, Again, a lot of weapons for SJV too.
Next up, Reese Fiore from Shore Regional, who we got to see this week.
Yep, I saw her play against Colts Neck. She averaged 16 points a game, including a 30-point explosion against Raritan in their last game.
I think she had 6 threes in that game.
Yes, yep, 6 threes.
Yeah, that
And they're a
was
team too. We talk about guard play. They got three guards. If they can be consistent, those three with scoring, I wouldn't want to play them either.
no, because if all three are on, because even Coyle could shoot from outside and Kimmy could shoot from outside. I think that's Reese's highest output since I think maybe the first week of the season. So
Yep.
they need to get her going if they're gonna go deep in and have a chance against New Prov in Central Jersey Group One.
That's always a tough call.
Yes. Last up in the wild, Gabby Parker from Freehold Township.
Another one of your soccer players committed to Bucknell. Led Freehold to a 3-0 week, averaged 17 a game, including a 21-point game against Long Branch, and she scored her 1,000 point also last week against Morris Knowles.
All right. 4, B Coastal. Then go Gabriella Flansbaum from Raritan. Scored double digits in all 3 of the games last week that she played in. Had a double-double against some school, not sure, Canona. Do you know
Oh
that
yeah,
school?
they're
Newark
I
or
think it's a
something?
charter school from up that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So she had 18 points, 10 rebounds, and she had 7 steals in that game as well. And then she followed that with 18 points and knocked down 4 threes against Keyport. And also on the 3 assists in both those games. So be Coastal. Her teammate, Princess Graves, has been selected a couple times, and then another Keyport player um, who's been a big part of them getting out to a 10-win season.
Yeah.
So, all right. So there we go. Players of the week. The poll will be up, I think, Wednesday.
And we should mention that Aaron Fromheim was last week's winner from Point
Yes.
Beach.
Yes, there'll be a post
So
about that.
congratulations, Aaron.
Yes, Aaron won that pretty convincingly, if I remember. Congratulations. And we should be towards the end of the week, we'll be doing team of the week. So we'll get some clarification if we're doing one for every week since the season started, or we're just starting now. I'll get some answers. So look for that. Doug tomorrow will be at the RBC, St. John Vianney at SJV. I will be at Frio Township at Frio Borough for the Frio Township game, and I'm gonna try to rush over to Manasquan after that to catch maybe the tail end of that game. We'll see what work brings tomorrow because don't really want to miss that one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to miss it either. Like I said, both times you got SJV, RBC, and Manasquan St. Rose playing on the same night. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Who did that
let's
schedule?
do a little better job scheduling that next year.
um, just think of our job next week if say Manasquan and RBC both win, and for the top 10, that'd be a
A lot of movement up top.
lot of movement in the top 4, and at the end of this week, they really shape up who are the front runners to win the short conference tournament. We should know
Yeah,
that by the end of this week. So,
yeah.
that's all I got.
That's all I got too.
All right, so Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Look forward to seeing you this week. A lot of good basketball. Is there any showcases this weekend?
I know there's one in Elizabeth.
Yes.
SJV is playing Morris Catholic at 1:30 up at the Dunn Center.
That could be a
Uh,
big statement for SJV.
I
Um,
mean, it's an hour drive. I'd like to go, but I don't know.
I don't think I've been there
Since Luther Wright played for Elizabeth,
since I was with I think St. Rose played St. Anthony's in the state finals.
last time I was there, Luther Wright played for Elizabeth.
Oh my
Went to see
God.
them play. Oh boy, I can't even remember, but he had like 40 points, 15
2000,
rebounds, 8 blocks.
I
He
think
was a man child.
2002. 2002, I think it was. St. Rose played St. Anthony's. Um, that was one that was before, right? I think that was right before St. Pat's became the dynasty. I think that was one of the
Oil,
last.
Oils Dynasty.
Yes. So a lot of good matchups this week. Not just tomorrow, but and even outside the top 10, there's a lot of good matchups that teams are going to find out a lot about themselves this week.
Agreed. And Nick and I will let you know where we're going to be the rest of the week. Um, on Twitter, probably let you know where
Yeah.
we're going to be for the games later in the week.
Yeah. So I think Brick plays Howell this week on Thursday, I think. I think that's an interesting
Be a
one.
pretty good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
be an interesting one. The
So
height versus the guards.
yeah. Yeah. So all right, guys. Have a good night. Stay warm. Hopefully no more snow this week. I don't know. Haven't checked the
Please,
forecast.
yeah, stay warm and it's going to be -5 tomorrow morning. So
Enjoy.
stay
Hopefully
warm,
my
stay safe, and
oh,
I'll see you guys at RBC at SJV tomorrow night.
all right. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care.